I'm curious how important it is for all of you to sort of shift what people expect from you based on your choices.
It's so different now. The climate is so different now. There's so many wonderful opportunities for women of every age.
Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the heated battle between Scarlett Johansson and the ever-controversial woke culture. Why is Hollywood furious with her? What has she said that has sparked such outrage? Let's get into it.
You're not on social media, huh? You're not on Instagram.
The outset is, I am not, though.
Is that a choice that you made, like, strategically? Are you just sick of it after you get off work? Like, what is that?
I honestly am too fragile a person to have social media. I can't, my ego is too fragile.
Really?
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson is not just a Hollywood icon. She's one of the most bankable stars in the industry, known for her roles in major franchises like the Avengers and critically acclaimed films like Marriage Story. With a career spanning over 2 decades, she has garnered both fame and controversy.
Understanding of transgender people continues to advance, and I've learned a lot from the community since making my first statement about my casting and realized that it was insensitive. So that first statement that she was referring to was responding to quite a bit of outrage that started almost immediately online when it was announced that she was going to take on the role. People were angry that it wasn't given to a transgender actor. And in her initial statement, she said that any criticism should be directed to the representatives of Felicity Huffman, Jared Leto, and Jeffrey Tambor. Now, all of those actors have played transgender roles in the past and were lauded for them. So it was quite a turn of events here, a change in her tune with her most recent statement.
However, Johansson is more than just a star. She's a strong advocate for artists' rights and has a unique perspective on the current state of Hollywood.
Now the 33-year-old actress is facing criticism from members of the transgender acting community on social media for taking a role described as a transgender man in an upcoming, yet-to-be-filmed movie.
Hollywood is trying to find new and unique stories, but they're using the same old players to play them.
Transgender actress-producer Trace Lizette among those declaring on Twitter that trans performers are being denied opportunities that should rightly be theirs.
In recent interviews, Scarlett Johansson has made headlines with her frank critiques of woke culture, particularly its impact on artistic expression. She argues that while social awareness is essential, the extreme reactions and expectations can stifle creativity.
I don't ever put my ringer on, probably much to the concern of every person that works with me, but I just can't stand it. I'm not a very, I'm no social media presence. I live quite an analog life, but I do find that my phone adds a lot of stress to my life, and it's an unnecessary stress because life is stressful, obviously, and it's complicated, and especially I think when you're even life is stressful in general, right? I find as a working parent, life is there's not a lot of other added stresses that come along with that, where you're constantly feeling like there's just not enough of.
I think we should be able to explore different roles without being attacked for not being woke enough. Artists need the freedom to create and explore the human experience. Her remarks highlight a critical tension in Hollywood today. Johansson believes that the fear of backlash can lead to a culture where artists feel constrained, unable to push boundaries or take risks. The response from Hollywood has been swift and severe. Many have labelled Scarlett as insensitive, arguing that her comments undermine the importance of representation in film. Critics claim that her stance is a defense of privilege, ignoring the struggles of marginalized groups.
Trans character in another movie, and people were like, hey, come on, what about trans actors? Can they get a shot at this? And she had a statement at the time which wasn't great. She was like, oh, why don't you go talk to other people's agents who've done it before me? It was like a very dismissive thing, and she apologized after that. And now she came back for another statement where she said something along the lines of, as an actress, I should be allowed to play whatever role I want, a tree, an animal, whatever, like people shouldn't be restricting me and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, it's so interesting. I understand why you may want to get defensive as a person. You know, I can even understand why some white people may feel like they're under attack in and around these conversations. But I think what's often lost is, you see when Scarlett goes, I should be allowed to play an animal or a tree or anything. And it's like,
this backlash reveals a significant divide within the industry. While some applaud Johansson for her honesty, others believe that her words perpetuate harmful narratives about diversity and representation. But what does this mean for the future of Hollywood? Scarlett Johansson's critiques raise essential questions about the balance between artistic freedom and social responsibility. Can we have both?
I kind of came into doing her in the post-production part of the process, and so for me, a lot of it was kind of a very isolated experience, working with Spike and working with Joaquin, and developing the character with Spike and figuring out what was working and not working, and what he felt the relationship really was missing or needed, and for more than anything, I'm really excited for Spike because it's something that he's worked on for years. It's extremely personal for him. The journey of making the film, it's his first.
If Hollywood continues to react defensively to dissenting voices, are we at risk of creating an echo chamber? Johansson's perspective encourages us to engage in a more profound conversation about the role of art in reflecting society. So, how can Hollywood move forward? Scarlett Johansson advocates for a middle ground where artists can express themselves freely while still being mindful of the narratives they promote.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome actress and advocate Scarlett Johansson.
Thank you. It is an honor to be here tonight. I speak to you not as a representative of young Hollywood, but as a representative of the many millions of young Americans, particularly young women who depend on public and nonprofit programs to help them survive. I grew up in New York City.
We need to encourage conversations about representation and inclusivity without stifling creativity. Art should challenge us, not confine us. As we wrap up, Scarlett Johansson's bold statements challenge us to rethink our approach to woke culture in Hollywood. Are we promoting genuine growth, or are we limiting artistic expression in the name of social justice?
Kind of shake it up a little bit because I just couldn't seem to, I just didn't want to work on stuff that I knew how to do and knew I could do it, and it was like, what is this? I remember thinking at the time, maybe I need a different job in this industry that would sort of be more fulfilling, because there seemed like there was just nowhere to go. And so I actually had the opportunity to do a play, to do an Arthur Miller play on Broadway, and it totally reset my whole way of thinking about how I could work and what the different kind of opportunities it could be.
I want to hear your thoughts. Do you agree with Scarlett Johansson, or do you think her critique of woke culture is misguided? Comment below. If you found this discussion enlightening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth explorations of today's pressing issues.